Hey guys, welcome back to Mentour District. I'm Molis,
Rafa.
and we're here with a special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us where we're at.
My name is Carlos Barragan. We're here at New Generation Boxing Academy here in the city of Lynwood, California.
All right, before we get into the whole detail on how you what you're doing now, let's begin with how you started. First of all, how did you choose the location? How did you choose the city?
The location ended up finding it. It was funny. When I was looking for a location, I was looking Huntington Park, City of Bell, Los Angeles. It's all over, but it had to be the right spot. It had to be a spot where it was big enough to have a ring, heavy bags, space for the guys that do jump rope and all that stuff, shadow box. So I was looking at a spot. I mean, it had to be at least 3,000 square feet. And I couldn't find a spot. The spots were either too big, too expensive, or too small. And my wife, she works in the city of Paramount, and she would pass by on her way back home going through Atlantic all the time. And she's like, hey, there's a spot that's for rent. And we came and we checked it out, and it was like an old mechanic shop, had been abandoned for like 20 years. And the owner really didn't care much about the property. I talked to him, and he was like, look, if you want me to fix it up, I'm going to charge you this much. He's like, but if you want to go and deal with the city and the permits and gut it out and start from fresh, basically I'll give it, like, let you use it at a great deal. And we did the math. We did a lease for 5 years, and we did the math of how much it would cost us if we were to do, if he was to charge us what he was going to charge if we fixed it up in those 5 years, and if what we would save, and we're like, oh, it's a no-brainer. We ended up gutting it out. If you see pictures, I have pictures on my phone of how it used to look before we opened, and people like literally. So I'm telling you, like, you know who's really there to support you when you have a place like that. They show up and they see how it is and they give you a good vibe. But there was a lot of people that showed up and were like, you're stupid for getting this spot. They didn't see the vision. They just seen the junk, like a rat in the.
Right.
It was bad. And but así como estaba that bad, I seen this already. I pictured what I have. I had it already right there. The colors, the color scheme, the layout, everything. And that's what a lot of people, they can't see people's dreams and visions. They just see the now. They can't see the later. And I didn't let it discourage me, and we ended up building what you see now.
So on the business side, how long did it take for you to sign the lease to get your first client?
So we got the place in February, right? We got the keys in February, the 1st of February. And he gave us a couple months free to organize ourselves, to set it up. So we busted ass and started doing construction and everything. And it was hard at first because there was, in the city had contracted like an outside group to come in and do like the building, safety and building inspection, whatever. And it just felt like they were just like, it was like bien tranzas, like they were going and having us do, we would go in and sit down with the planner, and he would tell us, okay, this is what you guys need. We'd have our architect do the things that they asked us to do, and then we'd go in and be like, oh, you can't have this, or you can't have that. And it's like we'd have to keep on paying to keep on doing new stuff. And it's like we're going nowhere. We feel like we're going to close the doors before we even open. So I kind of went through a buddy of mine that knew somebody that worked there that knew the mayor and told them what we were doing, what was happening and everything. And next thing you know, we were having things stamped, and they were approving on stuff that should have been approved a long time ago. They were trying to have us have like crazy things that they wanted us to have that we didn't really need.
I'm surprised, like, because it's not even a restaurant, and they're still asking for all that stuff.
Yeah, it was crazy. I understand that the basic things, the handicap things, handicap accessible entrances, restroom stuff, like the handicap access right here for the. But they wanted us to have this crazy, deposits, water fountain system, air, like a high-end air AC system. It's it was just crazy.
So you can imagine how hard it is to open up a restaurant.
A restaurant's even crazy,
All right? Seriously.
But a lot of that has to do with the city. If there's a city willing to work and grow their community, you can do it. And when they got that, when the city finally started doing things within themselves,
Yeah.
things started doing better instead of contracting people to come in. Because those people, they come in from the outside and they just,
Yeah.
you know, they're just draining everybody dry.
Right.
And it sucks because this was a good thing. Since we've been here, when we started off here, it was a bad area in the sense there was a lot of drug activity in the mornings and the night. There used to be a clinic across the street, like a methadone, I don't know what a methadone or something. So like every time we open at 6 in the morning, when we'd open, like you full of crackheads going to sleep, and then at nighttime it was bad.
Man.
Gang activity, the alleys, people from the schools. We have a couple high schools around here. They would come and be smoking, doing drugs. We would see syringes in the back, and since we've opened, we've cleaned up a little bit.
Cleaned it up.
And I believe we've had a pretty good impact on some of the kids from the community that I see when they started here, they were kind of falling into that little, we're borderline Lynwood Compton, so you have kids from Compton that come in and they're like borderline, you know, gang and stuff like that, and now they focus on the sport, they're good in school, they graduated.
Right.
Like I tell everybody, I mean, not everybody's going to be a world champion, but one day you're going to be a dad, a husband, you know, an employee for a worker, and you got to have that discipline throughout your life.
That's where you're gonna
It's
get
helped them out,
discipline at least, right?
Yeah, that's the number one thing we could try to help everybody out with.
So people don't know this, but El Chencho, I know Chencho is over 10 years of that.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I stopped talking to him because we lost communication. I don't know what happened. ¿Qué pasó?
I think we all decided to grow up.
Yeah,
We
right.
decided to grow up and started building our lives and just
Right.
didn't have the time. And,
Individually,
Yeah.
everybody had to focus on themselves.
Yeah.
Same thing with Molly. I stopped talking to him for a long time ago. For a long time. Yeah, same thing. So then, the next thing I know, te miro en el Instagram and you have your boxing academy. Like, ¿cómo has cambiado, Chencho? Pensé, híjole.
I tell myself now, man, I mean, I've always had the hustle in me to get things done, sometimes not so much in the positive way, you know. But if I would have started doing, like building my future at a younger age, I would have been already set, you know what I mean? I'm barely starting it right now, and I could have. That's what I'm trying to put into these kids' head, into my own kids' heads, is don't wait. I mean, there's going to be time to do everything, all that partying and all that stuff. There's going to be time for all that stuff. But focus on what they really want in life right now and build for that, because that way when they're our age, they're already set. You know what I
Let
mean?
me ask you, do you feel that, I mean, what you went through was because we didn't have positive role models in our lives?
I think we all had positive role models in lives, but the thing is, we come from first generation parents that
Right.
their number one thing, they don't know better. All they know is work.
Right.
All they know is work, and tienes que ir a la escuela and that's it. They don't really find different outlets for us to stay busy, sports, after school programs or whatever. Their main thing is just, as long as we do good in school, we get good grades, we can graduate, they did their job. And we get distracted with friends at school and stuff like that. But I don't think it's that, not that we don't have good role models, because our parents are good role models. It's just they end up like staying or having like a blind eye or whatever.
They don't know any better.
They don't know any better. Yeah, exactly.
You know, perfect example. I'm from South Central, and just what was it? A few days ago, I want to say like maybe 2-3 days ago, there was a big fight in Fremont High School, which I went to, and I think it was a racial fight. And for me, I was talking to some friends, and it's like, you know, are we failing as parents? Because this was happening when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And
Jefferson High School, there was the riots at Jefferson High School up to, it was like in the early 2000s.
Yeah. So
was
now,
racial.
you know, now like 20 years later, we're dealing with the same issues. So it's like,
And now we're the parents.
yeah. So I mean, because la gente, we're so used to start pointing fingers. Like, you know what? It's the school district, it's the government, it's this and this. But
No.
at the same time, we gotta take responsibility.
Exactly. I think, I mean, there's always going to be, I think, as long as is the media and so like you always hear the bad on the news. You don't hear the good. You hear the bad about everything, and it sucks. Like all the things that are going on with this new president, Donald Trump, and him blowing up all these race things. And what it does is le calienta las cabezas. Am I able to talk Spanish too?
Yeah, you can do
Le
that.
calienta las cabezas a certain races, and that just stays in their head, and they want to, I think, find an outlet. And the only outlet they have in South Central, so they don't have the white people to.
I just want to clarify, and when I was in Fremont High School, we had guns, but goddamn, we never did a shooting.
Yeah.
You know.
But the shootings you see are always the same. I think it's like a little crazy white boy that goes in and gets mad because his mom took his PlayStation away.
Right. Unfortunately, we just saw again past week in
yeah.
Santa Clarita. We sent condolences
That one
to all
kind
the
of hit
family out there.
hit close to home to our family. My wife's cousin's husband, I think he's like the assistant principal at that school, and his kids go there, her sobrinos, and it's kind of like, it's crazy because I was raised tough. I did bad, I got my butt kicked. My dad whipped my butt, and I see other kids or other people that I know that were raised like that, disciplined, but they don't chinga when they did bad. And they're hard workers, they're disciplined, and you know what I mean?
See.
The occasional little party, whatever, but it's not like they have their head on their shoulders straight.
Right.
And then you got these kids that you can't tell them anything. The kids go, I've seen little kids in my program, 10 years old, yelling, talking back to the parents, and the parents are like, Mikey, please don't talk to me like that. You know what I mean? And I have to tell them, hey, you don't talk back to your parents here, Mike. If you want to do that at your house, do it, but not here.
Yeah.
Parents, I think, are a little too soft now.
Right.
I got criticized like crazy because my kids' school is a block away. And because I let my kids, the youngest are 8 and 10, and I let them walk to school with a friend of theirs. So there's 3 of them walking together. It's a block away. I used to walk like a half a mile to my school when I was younger, and we didn't have all the technology that there is now where if anything happens, you're recording everything. You know what I mean? I think they're safer now than they were back in our days. And it's the same amount of crazy people that are out there. Just now there's more awareness and there's more security for them. But I have to let them go. If something's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, nobody wants their kids to get picked up by a stranger or anything to happen to them. But you can't control it.
Yeah.
You have to let them kind of, at a young age, start building some type of responsibility. And to me, them walking to school, knowing that if they don't make it back home by a certain time, crossing the streets and all that stuff, you're teaching them how to cross the street on their own and stuff like that. If you don't teach them little responsibilities like that, when they're older, they're going to be 25 years old, smoking weed, living at home with mom and dad. And that's what happens.
Yep. And that's why this is good. This is like another place to get disciplined, to stay out of the streets. So I think you're doing a great job right here. Cause
it works out in so many ways. It's a stress reliever for people that want to relieve stress, because we're open for beginners and
what's the age? What's the age?
Age is 5 and up. Age is 5 because usually kids are at 5 years old already in school, so they have some type of being away from their parents and listening to somebody. We have kids that are younger that have never been in school. They just, mommy, they want to. It's kind of hard to work with them.
You know, time changes. Again, like you said, in our generation, you know, our parents were first born here, but then ahorita con el tiempo, you know, there's a high rate of divorce, and then both parents are working, you know, to make, you know, ends meet, and not that we leave the kids behind or like no les ponemos tanta atención, but it's just the time is not there. So I think like with them coming to the gym, they're able to gain some kind of responsibility. You know, where most gyms, you know, we were talking off air. I went to a boxing gym where actually you came from, and I would see the little kids. I mean, yo estaba viejo, but I saw, you know, early teenagers, and, you know, llegaban, and the coaches are like straightening you up. You know, I mean, of course they can't put hands on you, but like, you know, sometimes because the kids aren't used to getting people talk to them, I think that would hurt more than physically hurting them.
Yeah. Like I'm the same way. I got kids that come in here and I was watching this documentary the other day. It's called Coach Snoop. And it's about Snoop Dogg, his football team and everything, and the coaches he has and all his coaches.
It's on Netflix, right?
It's on Netflix.
I lo vean.
It's a very good,
Yeah, I love it.
Very good documentary. And there's going to be 2 or 3 parents that are going to watch it and be like, I will never let my kid be coached by that guy. But it's crazy, though, the impact those coaches have, showing them tough love and everything in those kids' lives. I'm the same way. I'm old school. I'm from South Central. I cuss a lot when I coach. the funny thing is, I coach a lot of young, like our amateur program. It was crazy because after like our second or third year, like our growth program just blew up. And I talk to them like if I'm talking to the boys. I use a lot of cuss words. I say the F word. It comes out just naturally. I'm like, God damn it! You're like, bah, bah. But I'm never saying it towards somebody like disrespectfully. You know what I'm saying? And you guys need to effing pick it up or whatever. But it's never towards anybody disrespectfully. Yeah. And that's what I noticed about the coach on Coach Snoop. There's a coach on there that uses a lot of cuss words, but he doesn't disrespect anybody. You know what I mean? And he always goes and he pulls somebody to the side and he'll talk to them one-on-one, talk to them to let them know why he's getting them in trouble. And he builds these bonds with them and he pushes them to the max and he gets what they want out of them. And I think a lot of parents these days, like, they're too soft on their kids. They're just too, I mean, yeah, I understand the cussing and stuff like that. Some parents might not like it or whatever, but the toughness even. I've seen coaches just be tough on the kids, give them tough love and discipline without cussing, and the parents are like too soft on them. No, Billy doesn't want to, like, he wants to rest today. He's tired. Like, no, you got to not give. If I let my kids are in boxing and they train, like my little one, that kid's an athlete. He trains from 4 to 5, he does boxing, and then from there, he just got done finishing football season. He's 8 years old, and he does tackle football at Lynwood High, or the Lynwood program at Lynwood. And if I gave him he's an athlete, he loves sports, but if I give him the option to stay home playing video games all day, he would do that. So you can't give these kids the option to do what they want.
Yes.
Pick something they like and do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But don't just be lazy.
Wow. So you were saying that you have the biggest girl program?
We have the biggest female amateur program, I believe, in the country right now.
In the country?
Yes. There's a lot of gyms out there. I think a lot of gyms have 2 or 3 boxers. We have at least, I would say, like 20 female boxers. Out of those 20, we have more, but I think that are registered to compete, that are doing amateur boxing, at least 20.
And how did that happen? How did it, like...
It was just crazy. There was a point where our amateur program became really big. We had about 15, 16 fighters. It was in our second year. We were doing really good. We went to a bunch of tournaments. We were winning. We went to this national tournament and ended up winning the national team trophy. We did so good. It was our first year, and people from all over the country were there. And I didn't expect to win the trophy. Just we were doing so good, racking up points, and we ended up winning the team trophy. And then parents started getting a little comfortable. They started, we're going to start doing things our way. We want to start coming in at whatever time we want. We're not going to compete in this tournament. We're going to, and like, they're just getting comfortable. And I believe there's no point in having a program if your program rules and expectations are not going to get respected.
Right.
So I decided to just let everybody go. I can't be afraid to start over because I started from zero. I started with 0 clients when I opened this place. Right. And I already had all my other beginner programs and everything else. Just was my amateur team. And I told them, you know what? If you guys can't respect my rules and do things how we're going to be having them done, then leave. I opened the door right here and I said, if you guys can't fit through here, I have a big roll-up gate in the back. So that's what happened. Very good talent. It was bad because, I mean, it was kind of hard because a lot of the kids that left ended up going to different programs. They started with me. We developed them from zero. But it's crazy, though, because 2 years have passed, and all those kids that have left, not one of them has fought again. And I think it's bad on parents' behalf that they see their kids doing good in a good program. They should just respect it and do it. But they want to go and start becoming like the managers and decide what they want to do. And what happens is it's not as easy as it looks, and the kids lose their opportunities. They stop fighting. So when that happened, 2 of the kids were actually girls. Our youngest one is Kayla. She's ranked number 2 in the country. And then Merari, she's ranked number 4. They stayed. And then they were just training on their own. Our little team was just 2 people now, and they were training, and they were girls. And then all the other girls from the beginner programs were seeing that and like, oh, wow, these girls are good. They started picking up their game and developing. And we see girls that were, okay, you're not there yet, but you're looking pretty good. We're going to advance you to start training with them. And we started doing that, and they started developing, and then it just got crazy. People see our program, and they're like, hey, you guys got girls. They bring their girls, and then after about a year, they get developed. Some girls develop. In boxing and all sports, some kids develop faster than others, but we just been growing from there. And right now, it's been pretty good. We have ranked in the top 5 in the country. We have at least 8, 9 fighters.
Let's talk about today's date. Where's your gym at? How many fighters do you have?
Fighters, I mean, we got a lot. We got from pros and amateurs. I can't give you a top number, but we got at least 30 plus fighters. That's amateur and pro. Members we have.
Well, tell us the difference between amateur and pro.
Well, the difference between amateurs and pros is obviously amateurs are kids that are developing and trying to make it to the pro stages. How it starts off is usually coming to the gym as a beginner. How we do it is we have our beginner program separate from our amateur programs and everybody else with people with experience. Out of those people that come in, 80 to 90% of the people do not want to box. They want to do learn self-defense, build self-confidence, lose a little bit of weight.
Exercise,
stuff like that. From there, we start identifying who's the kid, boy or girl, that actually is taking it serious, that wants to compete, that wants to box, that has talent, that's learning. Some of the kids have talent and they don't want to box. But then you got kids that la están echando ganas, are learning, they're practicing what we're telling them to do. We started advancing them to our amateur class. Just because we advance them doesn't mean they're ready yet. We'll see a kid like that, we'll advance them to our amateur program. Once we feel that they're ready, they're sparring, they're doing everything right, and we feel that they're ready to compete, we'll start taking them to local shows and competing. You register with USA Boxing, you get a book, and then it's like a little passport with your record and everything in there. Then you start competing. Once you start competing, we usually have our kids compete 5 to 10 fights before we start taking them to tournaments. Tournaments are where you start getting your rankings and all that stuff. We travel all across the United States and start going to those tournaments. Usually kids get to about 17, 18, 19 years old. Obviously, Olympics is what they try to do, but it's so hard to make the Olympics. If they feel that they're not going to make the Olympics on the time that they have, then they'll decide whether they want to go pro or not. And then there's 2 sides of the pro game. There's the A side and the B side. Everybody's like, what's that? What's the A side? What's the B side? Who's the A? The A side is usually one that calls the shots, makes the decisions on, like, when they're like 2 top dogs. Like, for instance, when, let's say, Canelo and Kovalev fought last week, right? Canelo's the A side, Kovalev's the B side. Canelo decides, he's the one that's getting the higher pay. He's the one that's deciding, you know what? No, I don't want you to use those gloves, or this is the size of ring we're going to use, dictating, like, all that type of stuff. So when you're starting off as a pro, the A side, the B side is the A side is the one that's usually the one that sells the tickets with the small promoters, the headliner, and all that stuff of the competition. And the B side is the guy that comes in, and just because he's the B side doesn't mean he's a bum. He's just like, yeah. But when you're starting off as a manager, you got to go and be smart and pick the right opponents for your guy to build them up. You don't want to go and put your guy in with a guy that's undefeated, that's an Olympian. You want to take your time, build them up, start getting them harder fights as he goes.
Canelo,
That's
how they work
Canelo
him
the
up.
same way. But Canelo started at a young age, 15 years old, started a fighting guy. And you know what? Like, if you look, a lot of people don't know about boxing, but, like, if you look at his box rec, like, he fought Miguel Vasquez, I think, in his third fight. Like, he fought him twice. Miguel Vasquez ended up becoming a world champion. He's fought tough guys. It's just, I think they took him in a smart way. At 19 years old, he fought Miguel Cotto's brother, which was not a bum. He got tested. He got hurt in that first fight. His first fight with Golden Boy.
Got knocked out.
Yeah, he almost got knocked out.
I remember that.
And everybody's like, oh, he's a bum. Like, the kid is 19 years old. What do you expect? He's 19 years old and he's fighting a good veteran. He's not fighting. And then 20, 21 years old, fighting guys like Mosley, stuff like that. Guys, he's not fighting bums. He's fighting good. Yeah, they're at the end of their career. Yeah, but look how young he is. He's still developing. I think what he's done and what Mayweather's done for the game is just really good. Now people are able to retire with something. You build them up right, you make enough money, you're able to retire. And before it was different. Before it was just the promoters and the managers getting all the money. And some of the fighters were like, left with
Some nice cars.
some fighters with just some nice cars. That's it.
Some cars and a little thank you letter.
Yeah. The fruit basket, the hotel.
Let me ask you, as far as promoting, what do you think about what De La Hoya is doing with that new?
With the Zone?
Yeah.
Well, the Zone is just a network. Golden Boy's a promoter. You got Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn's with Matchroom Boxing. He's a promoter. And what they're doing is they're using that as a network. You know what I mean? The Zone. I think it's good because I'm able to watch the fights wherever. I don't have to go and be at my house and have to order it. And I pay a monthly fee of a little bit. And the only thing I don't like about the Zone is the commentators. I like the old school commentators from Showtime and HBO and the old pay-per-view fights. They're good commentators. They made you like interested in the fight and everything and how they would talk. Sometimes you wouldn't agree with what they were saying, but like you're into it because of the commentators. And these commentators right now are fucking boring. But I like what the actual the Zone and being able to watch the fights and then another thing that's good about the Zone is they have all the fight cards. So a lot of these young prospects that would never get seen in their like until they were like fighting on TV, the last 3 fights of the card will never get seen, and now you're able to see all the guys fight. Nice. So that's a good thing that the Zone's doing.
So we got I just want your take on that fight coming up. Andy Ruiz, what do you think? What do you think his chances win again?
I think Andy Ruiz. I've known Andy Ruiz or known of him. I've met him a couple times, but I've known of him since the amateurs. Like the kid he's not a pushover. The thing is, people that are not in the boxing community, everybody in the boxing world who knew who Andy Ruiz was, but we're like 25% of the fans. Like everybody else didn't know who he was, and they underestimated him. And I think even Anthony Joshua underestimated him a little bit. I mean, it just depends on how Joshua fights him. If Joshua, when he first started fighting, the first couple rounds he was boxing him, using his reach and using his advantage. And when he came in, he caught him with a check hook, and Andy Ruiz fell. His mistake was when Andy Ruiz got up to go toe-to-toe with him. That's fighting in his game plan now. That's his style of fighting. And he got caught, and he wasn't able to recover. He got caught, and it was just too much. If he's able to box him, which I doubt he'll be able to do for the full 12 rounds, and Andy Ruiz he's looking like he's in shape. If he's training really good with a very good coach, Manny Robles, I know him very well. But if he's able to come in and catch him, I think it's the same story again. And regardless, that's always going to be in the back of his head. That beating is going to always be in the back of his head, and he's going to be thinking about, I can't. Instead of just focusing on boxing, he's going to be like, I can't let him get in. Like he's going to be thinking about other stuff. And I think Andy gets in, catches him with a shot, and
because the fight, you just see like Joshua would throw a swing, and then Ruiz would come. Like,
yeah, he'll slip a punch, and they come in with 3 or 4 punches.
Joshua's like, whoa, what the hell?
Yeah.
Okay, man.
And all his fights are like that. The only loss that he has, I forget the guy's name, is another guy from the UK. That it was a close fight. It was a close fight that could have went either way. That's his only loss. And I think, I mean, I was raised in the Chavez era, and we were raised always irle al mexicano. You know what I mean? Y yo voy a irle 100% al mexicano. So I got Andy Ruiz on this one.
Let me ask you, what's your affiliation with Dell Records, the music label?
Our affiliation with Dell Records is con el señor Ángel del Villar. One time I ran into him, I think at Pico Rivera. He was there. I was there with some buddies. And I ran into him. I was like, hey, what's up? Like, 'cause I know he was kind of affiliated with Abner Bares and stuff like that. And he liked boxing. I told him, hey, like, you should get into boxing. Why don't you, like, promote or manage or whatever? And we just had a little, like, conversation. It was just, a little chat talk. I had Chavez Jr. here. He was training. And mandó saludos on Instagram. And I was like, who's this? Like, oh, shit. At first I didn't know because let's say Ángel del Villar is ADV, I think, 27. Like, who's this? Yeah, when I opened up, oh, shit, it's Ángel del Villar. Mandó saludos to Robert Garcia, to Chavez, and we're right there. And later on, I would put up videos of some of our amateurs and sparring and stuff like that. And he would do little comments and everything, send DMs. And he invited me over to the gym one day to train over there. So we went over there, took a kid to go train. And I told him about, like, some of the pros that we had. And he checked them out, supported them in some of their fights, and started up Dell Sports, the promotional company that we're going to be working on promoting fighters and doing events and stuff like that. And for the last 3 years, I've been right there working with them, doing a little bit of personal training and trying to find talent for the business.
Where do you see your company within the next 5 years?
Within the next 5 years, hopefully I have an Olympian. My goal is to have an Olympian. It's world champions are every weekend. Every weekend there's a new world champion, and an Olympian, it's every 4 years, and it's hard. It's a long process. There's no doubt in my mind that I'll develop a world champion one day.
What's your address?
We're in the city of Lynwood, California. Our address is 11336 Atlantic Avenue. Our crossing streets are Martin Luther King and Atlantic. We've been here for about 4.5 years, going on 5. And we take anybody from beginners to people with experience. We have people that deal with stress issues, anger management issues, self-esteem issues, self-confidence, bullying. We deal with all that type of issues. So if anybody that's dealing with any of that want to come in, we have a free day trial. You want to come in and try it out for free before you commit, come out and try it out and see if you like it.
And your social media, you have social media?
Our social media, we have our Instagram is NGBA, N as in Nancy, G as in goat, B as in boy, A as in apple, boxing on Instagram.
On Instagram. All right, well, thank you for your time. I know you're busy and you have stuff going on with your fighters today. We just want to thank you for giving us the time to come in. Wish you the best of luck. And hopefully next time we can come in and probably train ourselves.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot. I'm Molis.
Rafa.
And this is Mentour District.